Welcome to this Friday edition of Tampa Home Talk. Looks like you got myself, Leah and Leo this morning.
Leo from Beryl Project Engineering, or Engineering and Inspection, or Engineering and Inspections Project Engineering.
Yes, that you are. Boy, you're twisting that all around this morning, aren't you?
I have to make up for the fact that Adam's not here by just announcing myself for longer.
Yeah, I don't know where he is. I wonder if he's stuck in traffic. How's traffic doing this morning, Pat? Is he like, with this weather, is that where he is?
Really, should be fine, wherever he's coming from. But 75 is a little bit slow northbound if he comes away.
Got it.
Adam comes from the same way I come.
And we're
275?
275 to Bears up to 41.
like literally they live around the same area.
Yeah.
But I got notice from a little birdie. He's on his way, so we'll see him when he gets here.
A little birdie.
Yeah.
Oh, aren't you sure it was a cuckoo bird?
Maybe. I don't know. Perhaps. Could have been. We also have Mr. Tom Brubaker in the house.
Good morning.
Oh, we got to get him potted back up here. We'll fix that here. You go try that again, Mr. Tom. How's there? There you go.
Happy Friday. Good morning.
Happy Friday. We're going to talk all about business brokers, merger acquisitions, what that looks like, and we're going to have some fun around the business talk this morning. And got a couple listings to tell you guys about, a couple new ones that are coming up. And Pat, I've been thinking it's been a really fun 9 years, and I think
You're retiring?
This might be my last Friday in radio. I think I'm done.
Really?
What do you think? Why not?
It's been a good run.
Off now?
Yeah, I guess so. If
I also heard Viartes
you.
along the same lines. Viartes is closing.
Yes.
Oh, I know what's coming. Wait,
I got you for a second. It's April Fool's Day.
So did your daughter.
Did she? I heard that. Well, okay, so yeah, today's April Fool's. I'm not quitting radio, and don't let anybody get you today. Did you know it was April Fool's Day?
I knew it was April Fool's Day.
So you knew already?
Mm-hmm.
Something was coming?
Yeah, I expected more from everyone.
Did you now? All right.
Well, look at this sharp little character standing in the window.
No April Fool's joke that Adam Talley is looking at us, and he'll probably pop in for segment number 2. But let's go ahead and jump into our numbers this morning for the residential stuff. And we got a couple listings we are going to tell you about and a couple other announcements. So today, April 1st, let's have a look at these numbers. And, I keep watching, Leo, to see, because, rates had a pretty significant little spike here over the last 30 days. So I think we should start maybe seeing some type of change, you would think, in the market here soon. But
we're steady as she goes.
Look at the solds.
Yeah, I mean, we're just steady.
We're through the roof on solds. We're way up, like 20% up on solds.
We are. That's solid.
So
I love this. I mean, these numbers are pretty steady, though. I mean, solds are up, but news and pendings are around the same. So our market is very, very stable.
It is. Well, it's short supply, right? So anyway, the number of new listings right now, if you're picking from some residential stuff on the market, coming at 658 active homes to pick from within 3 counties. Not a lot to pick from there. Is there, Tom?
Katrina.
Yes.
Yesterday, I was talking with Schreiner, and he said, I said, well, I don't know if that's true, but I'm going to make sure I ask Katrina tomorrow morning. And he said there are 1.6 million vacant homes in Florida right now.
In all of Florida?
I don't know where they would possibly be.
April Fools?
That cannot be true.
Yeah.
And then he said in the United States, there's a total of 16 million vacant homes in all of USA.
I can believe that.
I mean,
from Lending Tree.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it just doesn't make sense
There's
whether
no
it be
way.
vacant properties when there's not enough homes for people to live in. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I'll do a little homework on that. We'll dig a little bit. I would probably challenge that or ask more specifics on where that is, because we're not feeling it here in Tampa.
A lot of it's got to be North and South Dakota.
I mean, it's still a little chilly around this time. They're getting snow still, like up in the Northeast, which is crazy.
Wait, they're still
April.
getting snow?
I think, yeah. I just saw there was snow coming. Where was that? One of my Facebook friends. I think they were up in the Northeast, I believe. But
Still has snow. I have a friend in Utah, and there's snow not far up the mountain.
So the number of sold listings, let's talk about that real quick. So last week it came in at 814. This week we're in at 1042. So 1,042 homes sold in the last 7 days. So those numbers are definitely ticking upward. And the number of pending home sales is steady. Last week, just a smidge under at 1041. And we've got a couple new ones that we've added to the market this particular week. And one of them is right in the heart of Tampa. So 1315 East Osborne Avenue. If you're looking for a great little property, give us a ring on this one. We'll be happy to
That's
let
near
you check it
Seminole
out.
Heights, isn't it?
It is, yes. Right there in that area, 250,000. And then we've got another one that's got some significant property up north in Webster. And that's just 225. That's got a really cool little external building with like almost like a little man cave or whatever. You could do a lot of stuff with that place. It's cute.
Love that.
But 81, 89 Renovo Drive, and we got a couple really good ones coming.
These are so cheap. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
seeing stuff that's lower than gas prices here.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine that?
250 and 225K.
Yes.
Those are like, how did these listings even available?
They just hit the market, so I mean, who knows how long they're going to be around, but they're on the market right now. So
where is Webster? I mean, I know Tampa is Tampa, but where is Webster?
north, like really north.
Like how far north?
Like, do you know where Croom is? No, you don't ride.
Gucci,
You don't ride.
Isn't it by Bushnell?
Yes, it's not far from
You
Bushnell.
keep mentioning words I don't know what they mean.
Well, you don't ride dirt bikes, I'm sure, or like anything like that. So if you did, you probably would know where Croom was, but it's north. So
North.
do you know where the National Cemetery is for veterans? In
Yeah,
Bushnell?
that's in Virginia.
Bushnell.
No, it's in Florida. It's not that far from here. I mean, it's north
an
of
hour
here.
north.
It's an hour north. Yeah, it's an hour north. Anyway, one more thing worth mentioning. It is the final weekend of the Renaissance Festival. So this weekend they're going to feature world market and entertainment from around the globe, and you really should stop over and check out the butterfly encounter.
Oh, that was neat when we did that. The butterfly counter was pretty neat. So it's a little, it's inside. They have a whole net set up. You walk into the net and you get attacked by insects.
Really?
Yeah.
They land all over you?
Oh, of course.
Huh. So you and Nikki did it? Both?
No, I just I.
Only you?
Well, we all went to the Ren Fair, but no, only I walked into the butterfly exhibit because it's a bunch of insects swarming all over you.
Yeah, she said no.
What makes these insects acceptable is they look pretty. Other than that, they're just insects.
Yeah, I guess you're right, technically speaking.
Thousands of legs crawling all over you.
They're not so pretty before they become a butterfly.
Yeah.
So
Well,
also,
the caterpillars, they're just little cute fatnesses.
well, they do, the Renaissance Festival, they do little theme weekends, right?
They do.
What weekend? You went the first weekend, right?
I usually go for the Highland Games weekend.
Okay.
But due to a scheduling mishap, the Highland Games that weekend had a national or regional competition down in Sarasota, so there were no games. So it was just a themed weekend minus the theme,
Got it. So this one I think is steampunk attire.
which is awesome.
So that sounds right up your jam. You should totally go.
Well, I would, but I'm going to the Highland Games in Dunedin tomorrow.
Got
I
it.
didn't get my Highland Game fix, so I need to get it in Dunedin tomorrow, where they'll have 87 athletes, 100 dancers, and 25 musicians.
All right. Sounds good to me.
You better get there early.
All right.
Why?
Busy?
You didn't check the weather?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be terrible tomorrow.
I know.
Like 1,000% chance. of
Yeah,
rain.
but there's it's supposed to rain in the morning and then in the evening. I thought the afternoon was safe.
I don't know. Well, you know how Tampa is. You know how, Tampa gets the all day, all morning
That's true.
shower in the summer. By 3 o'clock, you're in the clear. So.
That is true.
And then one more PSA that I thought was just worth mentioning because it really irritated me. If you rent a Tesla from Hertz and you lock the key card in the car,
Oh no, I don't like where this is
they're
going.
going to charge you $12 to unlock it.
You don't have AAA?
You can call AAA, but think about how ridiculous that is. I don't think you realize how easy it is to unlock a door on a Tesla. You literally click one button and the door unlocks. And I said, so you're going to charge me $12 to push one button to unlock the car. And they won't let you, like if you're already a Tesla owner and you have the app, they won't put it on your app so you can drive it and have walk-away locks and all that. You have to physically use a card.
Wait, they'll let you they can remotely unlock your car?
Yes. You can remotely start it, you can remotely move it, you can do all kinds of stuff.
Why does that charge $12 then?
Exactly. That was my point. Like, you guys are charging me $12 to hit a button. So, thought I'd give a little shout out to Hertz there for being so great this morning. So when we come back, we're going to talk to Tom Brubaker about business brokers. He's our official show partner of Tampa Home Talk, and he's going to join us this morning to talk all about functions of mergers and acquisitions brokers. What does that look like when you want to buy or sell a business? And we're going to describe a little bit more in depth with what he does. And we might even get like an insurance tip or something from Adam when he comes back.
I'm loving this. So 813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775. Well, good morning. Welcome home. And we're back. And we're back with more people now.
More people. I'm here.
We have Adam Talley with... Is that a dinosaur shirt?
It is.
I love that shirt.
I know.
Where do I get one of those?
Roback.com.
You know what? You had a pretty fun little mixer. I enjoyed a lot of your people there.
Awesome.
That were,
Well, good.
I had I was double scheduled, so I had to...
Had to bounce quick.
Stay, yeah, longer than like an hour, but I totally would have stayed longer because the people were pretty awesome that I was talking to.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we had a good time. Great turnout. And... met a lot of people, so I've already been in contact with some people, so definitely worth the time there.
Did your sponsors help offset the event?
Yes, yeah. It was there was 4 of us there, so it really kind of spreads it out, so makes it easier to do it more often.
Definitely.
So,
It was a cool little place.
Yeah.
Hadn't been there before in Midtown.
I never got an invite.
I don't know.
You were, I think, by the time we had done everything, you had been in Belize for like 3 weeks. We'll get you on the next one.
It was pretty fun. There were some smart people there. You would appreciate going.
I like
and
smart people.
talking to them, Leo. All right, what you got for us by way of insurance tip?
Well, insurance tip this week. The only thing I will say, I hate to beat a dead horse with the way the homeowners insurance market is right now, but it's pretty rough out there.
It's because we keep losing carriers, or what?
We do, and it's economics, right? The less amount of carriers, less options, rates are going to go up.
Question: did we lose UPC?
We have not yet,
because I'm seeing this on some of my litigations that UPC is now being represented by Family First.
That's their. So UPC almost acts like an MGA. That's just an underwriting company under them.
Kind of like Progressive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a different,
Okay.
That's still them. We did have one earlier this week, Lighthouse, and they bought Prepared a couple years ago.
Is that the name of the company, Prepared?
That was.
I thought Prepared was ASI. I can't keep track. This is kind of like the bank mergers of 2008, 2009. I can't keep track of all this stuff.
ASI got bought by Progressive.
Okay. Who's Truist?
Truist is just a combination between SunTrust and BB&T.
I can't keep track of this.
Oh, yeah, I forgot BB&T was on that, too. I remember it was SunTrust.
So as a homeowner, if my insurance policy is bought by another company, do I lose anything?
No.
Do they change my rules?
No, they just keep it the same. Now, they have to, at least for the first year. Generally, they'll keep all the underwriting stuff the same for the first couple years, and then you might see at renewal some changes. But, you get your renewal packet. Everything that's changed is in, people on the radio can't see it, but the super huge bold letters that stand out up front. So you'll know if something changes. Is that why the
price is always in super huge bold letters?
Hopefully they bury it somewhere else because it's going way up.
Why do you think so many carriers are pulling out of the market right
They're
now?
not pulling out. They're going out of business because they don't have any money.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not pulling out. It's not like early 2000s when Nationwide and some of the big boys pulled out. Obviously, they didn't run out of money.
Because they're nationwide.
Yeah. It's...
That was probably like before you were doing business, but I tell you,
We've been in business for 40 years.
I know, but your dad would remember this more than you would personally. Mm-hmm. I just know, I remember when Hurricane Andrew hit Miami, which I think was around 98.
92.
91.
Oh, gosh, I'm dating myself. I thought it was 98.
June 92.
Okay, so I remember when Hurricane Andrew hit Miami, a lot of those statewide carriers, like State Farm, Allstate, many of those
pulled out
of the whole state.
Sure happened.
And I was a loan officer at the time, and I had stuff ready to close, literally policies prepaid, and I'm not kidding you when I tell you, because we used to write loans in Miami, they canceled the policy and sent them the money back.
Yeah.
So I think there were some rules around what they can and can't do. That's why they have like in the box and stuff.
We
But
always
it was
learn from our
crazy.
Yeah. on how to
So,
make new mistakes.
You're gonna have to ask your dad about that, about them canceling.
Oh, I
policies,
no, I
and
remember
it.
It happened. We've talked about it. It happened.
It was the craziest thing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, the news this week though, and generally this is a sign that every time that this has happened, a couple weeks later they go into receivership, which is where the state says, "Hey, you're done."
So why do you think that claims are so high?
There's a myriad of reasons. We've talked about that, but I did want to say before we forget, because you keep asking questions. I want to make sure I say
this
the name.
This is a very informative segment. We keep asking questions.
Yes, but Lighthouse had their Demotech rating taken away. So basically, when that happens, it's the sign that.
What's a Demotech rating?
It's a rating like somebody says they're an A+ carrier or whatever. It's a financial basically rating that hey, they're sound and can pay their claims, etc. So why we've had a ton of claims, I don't know. I think the way that probably a combination between how these carriers have been handling them, and as we always talk about, there's that 1% out there that kind of ruin it for everybody else. I mean, I had a client call me the other day, and he's like, he got a door hanger on his front door that said, "Hey, give us a call. We've pretty much replaced all the roofs in your neighborhood. We can get you your roof for free too."
I don't think they were allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to do that anymore.
Well, there's people still doing
They're
it.
still doing it.
So
I have a question for you, Adam.
Sure, fire away.
So when an insurance company is going under and another one comes in, is it a standard merger and acquisition, or is it more of a receivership? What happens?
So
how does a carrier say, "I'm gone," and another carrier say, "Oh, I got to pick this up"?
They don't. They don't typically. They don't typically. So what happened with Lighthouse buying Prepared was, a couple years ago, they wanted to enter the Florida market. Prepared had a book they were trying to sell. That was just a simple, as we're going to talk about later, merger, acquisition, type of deal. What's happened when you go into receivership, the state says you're done.
Right.
You have 30 days to liquidate, and that's it. You're out of here. What happened with St. John's about a month or so ago, St. John's was a pretty good carrier. They'd been around for probably 15 years or so. They had been through a lot. Their book of business was actually pretty good. So what happened is before they got to that point where the state said you're done, a new company called Slide came in and bought the existing book
So
as
Slide
is.
slid in.
Correct. So they take
these
all the
names sound like something like a little techie would make. Like literally, they're not very.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're run. You need to differentiate yourself because there's too many American blanks, right? American Heritage, American Strategic, American Intech. It gets confusing.
Well, that's back when you used to do this alphabetically, because there was ABC Plumbing and ABC.
Yeah,
Roofing,
you'd have
ABC
Aardvark, whatever,
Yeah.
because it starts with 2 A's. So
How
yes.
familiar are you with American Family?
American Family, not very at all.
Okay,
I
just
am.
curious. Yeah.
It's part of the American family.
Oh, stop it.
The
Are we
American
being
integrity,
serious?
American family, American security, American home.
Okay, never mind. Just forget it.
I am familiar with them. Why?
Well, because the lady that hit my car, that's whose insurance is paying for it.
Okay.
They're doing okay. Just want to know what you
They
think.
can, as long as they can pay claims, they're doing
Hey,
okay.
you know what? So long as they're doing just okay, that's probably pretty good right now. So
No, they haven't bought me on anything. We'll see if they reimburse me for the
Yeah.
rental or if that's a fight. I don't think they will, but who knows? They might.
Well, I don't think you're getting reimbursed for the $12 keyless entry fee.
Yeah, probably not.
Katrina, are you telling me you do not have your car back yet?
I have not had it, and it's going to look crazy when I pick it up. It's going to be like half wrapped, half not wrapped.
She's still driving a Tesla.
I
though.
think you should leave it like that. Do the Two-Face thing.
No, I can't
Like
even.
Batman?
I don't
Yes.
even know. I should have the guy. I'm going to text him while we're on the air and say, "Hey, send me some pictures of my car so I can see what's wrapped and what isn't, and
Right.
what that looks like."
Problem with the car?
So
got into an accident.
Yeah, Adelisa was driving my car and she got hit.
I know that.
And,
That was 2 years ago.
and her rates went
wasn't.
way up.
It was December. It's not my rates. It's not my accident.
Wait, she's
Like,
not on your policy?
She is, but the other person's paying for it because it was their fault.
Adam, does that mean that Katrina's rates are going to go skyrocket?
Your rates will still probably likely go up with a not at fault accident, depending on if you have any,
Florida's a non-fault state.
accident forgiveness.
Well,
type thing.
it wasn't even here in the state. Does that matter?
No, because it relates to what your carrier. So Florida's the only thing. No fault just means that you have to have PIP, which means that if you get hurt, your PIP covers you first, regardless of who's at fault.
And
That's
nobody
all
got
that
hurt.
no fault means.
Nobody got hurt, but
But
So
when
there's still fault then.
But when you have an accident, when you have an accident, it still shows up as an accident on your policy.
With the amount of that damage, I think that lady's probably going to get dropped after this claim.
So
because it's going to be
like, for instance, I had a client who he lived down in Southern Hillsborough County, right? So always driving on interstate.
Ruskin.
Sure. Driving on interstate, driving where there's all these construction things going on, and he had probably like 5 or 6 different comp claims, windshield claims for chips. And he's like, man, why did my rate go way up? I didn't think they'd charge you for this. Well, windshield in the state of Florida, if you have comp and collision, they replace it for free. But clearly your driving habits are causing you to get this, and that, they went...
How, though? I would dispute that, because those rocks come all the time from trucks and different...
Well, ideally, the insurance company doesn't want you driving your vehicle. They give you a discount if you
park it at home, you're good.
They give you a discount if you prove you don't drive it often.
It's frequency.
It's the amount of damage. Like, I wish my car was priced less because they would have totaled it and I would have got a new one, but it didn't work out like that.
Well, here's another one. If you have bad credit, you have to pay higher premiums too. What does that have to do with it?
I get so frustrated.
Or no credit score, right?
Because you're penalizing people that already can't pay for it anyway. So what's?
But what about the
I
no
get it
credit
from an
score?
We can talk about that off air. But
that's a thing too. The no credit score.
That is.
Because it'll actually bump your rates, which is crazy. Because that's what Dave Ramsey preaches, is to have a 0 credit score.
Zero would not be ideal. I would say
it's just blank.
Yeah, blank is not good.
All right. Well, this is Tampa Home Talk. We're going to take a quick break, and we are going to talk to Tom when he comes back right after this break. Our off-air number, in case you're a business owner and you're listening and you're thinking about either buying or selling a business, we have the go-to contact for you. Just call or text us here at 813-377-2775. We'll give that back.
And welcome home. This is Tampa Home Talk. I'm Adam Talley with Talley Insurance. Where are we today?
It's not your turn to talk. Leo's going to give his tip when we come back in segment 4, but it's Tom's turn.
Right. Well, we got to bring Tom in.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have to bring Tom in.
He's going to intro the segment.
Yes, we're talking.
Okay.
We are talking about.
I thought you were going to try to hijack another.
No, I'm done talking about insurance. I get to do that the rest of the day. I'm tired of it.
Get the flow of the show.
Yeah, come on, girl. You got this. Anyways, we're talking about the difference between business brokers, mergers and acquisitions, what you need to do if you're ready to sell your business, all that fun stuff. Tom Brubaker.
So let's talk
business
about
broker
what you
extraordinaire.
do. Let's talk about what you do so that we can explain if there is a difference between business brokers versus mergers and acquisitions. Like, what is the difference?
Generally, business brokering tends to be the little B&B businesses.
Like the smaller, under a certain amount?
Oftentimes. It doesn't necessarily have to be. Mergers and acquisitions, it's common for the seller to retain an interest going forward.
So is that one of the things where they retain an interest permanently or stay on for like 3 years, or?
It's normally a short-term thing.
Okay.
I'm working on a deal right now. It's a $30 million acquisition, and they're buying 75% of the corporation, and then 5 years, the seller gets paid out.
Got it.
Now, is that also helps with transition, right? Because if you go with leadership and you just drop off like like that, it's probably not good for the company, right?
Right. It's not necessarily an earn-out. An earn-out is conditioned upon future earnings. Mm-hmm. It's unconditional, and that's the difference there.
Gotcha.
So I read, Tom, that the larger transactions actually require an M&A advisor or broker. So like if the company generates a revenue of 10 to 50 million or higher, you have to have an M&A advisor. Is that right?
No, that is not the case. And believe it or not, in the state of Florida, all you need to sell businesses is a real estate license. Mm-hmm. And it has nothing to do with real estate. Sometimes about 10 to 20% of the time, the business will have real estate with it.
That low? That low?
That low.
Wow.
When you go down Dale Mabry and US 19, you see all these shopping centers. There's 30, 40 tenants in there. Every one of those is a business.
Right.
They lease their space. Most businesses are renting their space.
You also have to think most businesses that even if they own the building, they don't own the building. The owner owns the building and it's under a different company.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
You have a different LLC for that, and then
Yeah, I would think very few businesses actually own their building.
I feel like a lot of the franchises, they own their buildings, like the fast food stuff.
In fact, the lease is an extremely important part of an acquisition, of a business sale. If there's 1 year left on a lease, a buyer's not going to buy it if it's a locational.
Like a restaurant where you need it to be.
Exactly.
It's used to being in that spot, so if you move it, you lose. Move a half mile, you lose half your clients.
I would like to tag on to what you just said a minute ago, where you said all you need in the state of Florida to sell a business is a real estate license, right? So theoretically speaking, since I'm licensed, I could sell a business. You would not want me to sell your business, but legally what you're saying is I could help somebody buy and sell a business.
Right.
So with that being said, what should somebody ask to make sure the person has the qualifications and the know-how to actually help them?
There's organizations. I'm a member of the International Business Brokers Association and the Business Brokers of Florida, where I serve on the state board. And they have different designations that you pick up along the way. But it is difficult to tell. 34 states do not require any licensing. My mother could go be a business broker today.
That's weird. That's weird to me, especially with some of these having such, substantial revenues. It's weird to me that there's no one licensed to do that. I think it's strange.
Most business brokers are actually accountants. They come from the accounting side of it.
Okay.
They're CPAs. They figured out they can make more money selling businesses, and they jump on this side.
So I'd love to talk about that. Like, when you're going in to value a business, what do you look for? Like, how do you actually determine what the value is?
Boy, we could talk 2 days on that.
So what are
Depends on
some
the
little
business.
things? Yeah.
First thing I do, I request 3 years of profit and loss statements. I like the P&Ls over tax returns because the expenses are itemized.
Right.
So we look at 3 years to look at the trajectory of the business. If it's going up every year, that's great. A buyer will like it. That'll determine what side of the value it's going to be on, upper or lower. But nobody wants to buy a sinking ship. So if the values are going down every year, there's a problem. And that's usually when they call us. You're supposed to sell a business when you are making more money than you ever thought you'd make.
What if there's a reason? Because I know one of the things, because I wrote down like some of the top 10 reasons why people sell a business, and so you can chime on that a little bit later. But what if the owner had some health challenges and that's why their revenue dropped? Does that play into any of the consideration, or it still goes into being lesser valued?
I had that yesterday. I went out and talked with the construction company, and turns out that the seller is terminal.
Ooh.
And his business has been declining for 8 years. But to a buyer, it's not going to matter too much. They want to know where it is now and how they can scale that business going forward. But you did bring up a good point, why people sell a business.
Right.
I ask every owner, why are you selling? The number one answer is not what you would think it would be. They all say 3 words: I am tired.
So that's the number one reason?
Number one reason.
People are burnt out?
If any of you listeners have owned a business, you own them, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. I'm tired. What about you? Are you tired, Leo?
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
I'm tired.
Actually, I was thinking last night. I went to bed around 10:30. I'm going to get 9 hours of sleep. I usually get 5 hours of sleep, and I just went to bed early, so I'm wide awake.
You know what I mean.
That's early for him. He's usually like, 2 a.m. in the morning, huh?
I'm not tired, but I completely agree with what you said about sell when the business is hot. So if you know there's going to be a turn in the market and you're in a business that market's turning, sell when it's hot. Because I've seen too many business owners wait until they're on a sharp decline, they've got no assets left, and they're basically selling a job.
Right.
Yeah, it's like a mountain, and you're supposed to sell when you're at the top of the mountain, not at the bottom. 2 things happen at the top of the mountain: technology or competition. And you don't keep up with either one, you're going to lose it.
Makes sense. So are you seeing many companies like mine where maybe they've had increased revenues, partially because of the market?
Oh, absolutely. COVID hurt a lot of businesses, and they also helped a lot of businesses. Construction companies did the best. and they flourished during COVID.
Yeah. Think about Lowe's and Home Depot. Like, they never
Yeah.
closed. People, when they were home, they went and just bought stuff and finished all these projects
Time
around
to
the
do
house.
the yard.
Yeah.
Time to finally pressure wash, all the good stuff.
So, are you seeing many, like, real estate companies that are selling in this market while it's good?
No.
No, they're not selling. They're holding on.
Now, I do see some, there were a couple good-sized real estate offices that did merge, but I believe they were unsolicited.
Okay, makes sense. Do you see ever where people will sell part of the business but not the entire company?
Yes, that's not usually the seller's intent. The seller wants to cash out and be done with it, but the buyer wants the seller to have skin in the game. So therefore, they ask them for a partial buyout.
So give me an example of what that looks like, or a recent one that you did.
I'm doing one right now. It's where they're selling 75% of the business, and the buyer's going to, or the seller's going to retain 25% for a 5-year period.
But that's just a percentage. Like, do you ever see, like, I'll use Leo for an example. So he's got, like, his inspection firm. He's got the engineering side. He's got baby proofing. Would you ever go in with somebody like him and just sell, like, one segment or one part of the business?
All the time.
I guess they're different companies, right? Or no? Are
No, it's
they-
all one company. They could be easily split, though. The way we track our financials is by the 3 different divisions.
So with that being said, like, would you ever work with somebody like Leo to sell one part of the business but not the others?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And what they're buying, they usually have different business names. Oftentimes, there's a business name. The corporation might be ABC Corporation, and they're doing business as Jack in the Box. Well, they're selling the name, the goodwill.
Which can have a lot of value,
It's all the value. That's what it is.
which is why it's important probably for the owner to stay on for a while after selling the business, right?
Right.
Now, do you have a particular segment that you specialize in as far as business size or EBITDA or however you personally determine it?
Not necessarily. I'm very much a generalist.
Okay.
I don't like working the little landscape company or the single person cleaning pools. Those are very difficult to sell. You
Right.
know, in that case, somebody is buying a job. Of course, we like the upper priced up, but everything moves. Right now, we have so many buyers coming in from New York,
So it's the same as the residential
Massachusetts, all these shutdown states. They were put out of business by their government.
side. So
Right.
are they looking to, like, start a new one here or jump on one that's going?
They want to buy one here. They said, "I love your governor." They all say the same
I
thing.
know.
I love the
Yeah.
governor. I want to go. I want to buy a business in Florida. I am tired of the North. I'm tired of being shut down.
I hope we don't lose him. Like, I could easily see someone trying to grab
not a
him to run
political
for president.
show.
We're not. I'm just saying, like, he's great. Everybody loves him. And so I see him, naturally moving up the political.
I wouldn't say
career.
everyone loves him. There's a
lot of people love
His
him.
new bill has caused a lot of turmoil.
Which
Anyways,
one? The one with
politics aside, do you work more on?
I think more people like him than not.
Do you work more on the buy side or on the sell side?
Sell side. And I'll tell you why. Here's a fun fact. Only 2% of buyers actually buy a business. It's a knee-jerk reaction to being fired, hating their boss, getting divorced, coming into money. There's a life change. And they say, I'm going to go buy a business. But then they figured out it's a royal pain to own a business. So they end up taking a job. So we don't work with buyers as much. We do work with sellers.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
And I would say from being on the buying end, because over the Beryl's years, I've tried to buy other engineering firms. It's hard to find a business that's worth buying, where you're actually buying something other than goodwill. You're
Right.
buying a portfolio of clients. You're buying a company that can run itself.
which is
and-
hard. A lot of
and-
companies are not that way.
Well, and
Yeah.
as we talked about, are you getting out of it for the right reasons, right? And if I wanted to buy another insurance agency, is that person just aging out and they don't have anybody to give it to, or did they write a bunch of crappy business and they know that it's about to fall off the cliff, so to speak, as we talked about, as soon as in the next couple of years?
Well, when we come back, I'd like to talk a little bit more about what a business owner would need to know in order to sell their business, right? So we talked about having financials cleaned up, or it's a good time to
Exit
do that.
strategy.
Yeah, over a 3-year period, like how long in advance should they be talking to someone like you about that? And I would say, with what we just talked about with regards to revenues and business going up, it probably should, if you're thinking about selling your business, you should probably work your 2D off for 3 years to get those numbers up and have a strategic plan. But we'll chat about that when we come back. And if you're a person listening and you would like to buy or sell a business, give us a call, shoot us a text. We'd love to get you connected with Tom. I have to tell you, we've referred him on the commercial side, and he has done a bang-up job. 813-377-2775.
Welcome home. We're rounding out the final segment here.
Can you give out the number again?
Oh,
There's only
sure.
time to do it once.
Leo with Beryl Engineering and Inspection telling you 813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775.
You can call or text that number.
You can call or text that number. I texted that number last week. I texted my zip code to get zip code specific real estate information,
The
such
data,
as
yes.
pendings, boughts, and solds, and news.
Yes.
I never got it.
What are you? Are you 33610?
3605.
We're going to make sure that gets fixed, Leo.
I never got it.
We're going to make sure you get it today.
Never got it.
Shame. We know
We're
your
going to
name.
make sure you get it today, and so you can come back and talk
I'm
about it
holding
next
back my review on Yelp until after I got it. Right now, it's not sitting that pretty because I texted and I never got
I
the
am
data.
sure-
All right,
we can
Mr.
fix
Yelp,
that.
why don't you Yelp us a tip of the week?
Oh,
Ooh.
I'm
Oh,
put on the
shoot.
spot.
My zip code. That's all he's got to say.
That's my zip code. No, actually, here's your insurance tip of the week. If you
Your
have,
insurance tip of the week? What license do you have? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you.
I don't have enough time to tell all my license stuff.
No, I know.
So here's your inspection tip of the week. Let's say you own a commercial building and you're thinking about selling. You're probably going to be under one of two leases with your tenant. You're either going to have a lease that you maintain the building, or you're going to have something called a triple net, where the tenant's maintaining the building. If you are in a triple net, you make sure that you inspect your own property periodically to see what the condition of those assets are.
Yes.
Because I've seen too many where they're like, oh, the tenant's supposed to take care of it. And then the tenant just disappears, goes out of business, and they're left with a building without AC, without working fridges, without working
mess.
kitchen equipment,
Those are
without a
fun to
gas
sell.
hood. I mean, these are high dollars. Like when you're selling residential real estate, your roof, your foundation, those are the big ticket items. If you've got a commercial building with a kitchen, a commercial kitchen, those things are expensive. Those things are more expensive than the roof. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Hundreds of thousands. So make sure that even if it's in triple net, which means that the tenant's supposed to maintain everything, you know what's yours, what's theirs, and you go in there and periodically look at it.
Well, the lease should give you guys right to access the property, right?
With
for the
notice.
inspection? Yeah.
With
Well,
notice, we've had a
it's every-
couple. We've had a couple of lawsuits that we were involved in where they were moving their equipment of the commercial kitchen. The tenant removed their own equipment, but they damaged the structure and the roof line to do it, and then hence the lawsuit. So that's your tip of the week.
Ouchie bagouchie.
Don't assume because someone else is supposed to do something that they're doing it.
Almost
call
almost
Beryl.
assume the opposite, that they're not doing
Beryl
it.
could do an annual inspection for you just to check on the condition of the building.
Definitely.
It'd be a good idea.
I do that all the time.
See if that triple net lease and you're one of the people that owns a building. Let's get that scheduled with Beryl.
813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775.
It's like shooting fish in a barrel. All
right.
Now we're done.
So, Tom, what does somebody need to know? Like, what should they do? And I'm sure this is more of an in-depth conversation that you'll have one-on-one with them versus, the 8 minutes we have left on the air. But what are some of the things, like quick tips, that somebody should be aware of or be thinking about if they're looking to sell a business?
Number one, keep clean books. Report your cash. It's hard to put cash in the bank, but when you're selling a business, let's say if your business is worth 3 times your annual cash flow, that could be $500,000-$600,000. But it could only be $25,000 in tax liability. And I see people all the time, they want to cheat the IRS, save 25 grand, but they lose 500,000.
Yeah.
And I can tell you story and story again. Keep clean books.
What kind of businesses do you see that in a lot? Like bars?
Restaurants and
Bars.
the service
You're
businesses.
cash.
Yeah.
Under the table, cash.
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 The other thing is replace yourself and replace your family. and I hate to say that, fire your family. If they're not going to stick around after the sale, you have to put people in place to replace them. And a business is worth a lot more money if the buyer doesn't have to be hands-on. So they can bring somebody in
To run it.
to replace you and to run it, then that's very attractive to a buyer, because now you have not just an owner-operator, but you can sell to an investment group.
Isn't that one of the hardest things for business owners to do, though, is to have the business run by itself without them?
Who wants to give up
But
that
then,
kind of control?
yeah, they'll say, well, then I have to pay $125,000 to replace me. Well, then we find out what it's really worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So replace yourself, get somebody in that can take over. When I get these real high-end businesses, I sell them to private equity groups. The private equity group, they have to hire someone to come in.
What's an example of a high-end business that you would sell to a private equity group?
Medical practices.
Okay.
I sell super schools, private schools.
Okay.
Big money in that.
Big money in daycares, too.
Any big construction companies, manufacturing.
I've got another question. Is there big money in car washes? Because there seems to be a lot of those popping up.
There's good money laundering opportunities.
Yeah,
Breaking Bad.
They're known to be cash cows, but it depends on who you're talking to and what a lot of cash is. So car washes do okay.
Economies of scale on that one, I would say.
There's not a lot of them out there.
I don't know. They seem to be popping up everywhere in Pasco. Like there's so many car washes.
No, I mean as
don't
far as the sellability, the owners keep them. It's easy to run.
It's easy to run themselves.
Yeah, they don't have to be involved in the day to day. Just hire
Like
people to run.
laundromats. You don't really have to be there to
Yeah.
do that one. They do it does
Right.
itself.
Coin laundries.
Well, those were always really good cash cow businesses, right? What about like RV parks? Are those
Extremely
are there any
difficult.
opportunities?
The problem we have with RV parks is that municipalities don't like them.
Right.
They do not like mobile home parks. They don't like RV parks. So you have
They
to buy
attract
one
tornadoes.
existing.
They track tornadoes. Get out of here.
Well, the RV parks are very different than I would say mobile home parks. They're very different.
A lot of RV parks have mobile homes within them.
Yes.
Very few of them are strict RV parks.
And if it's an RV park, is there a limit on the time they can spend there, or they just as long as they're paying, they can stay?
There's no limit.
I mean, usually what I find, because we don't really RV that much anymore, but we did a lot when our kids were small. And so what I found it's a big difference between someone that lives in a mobile home, like as their home, and people that recreationally use an RV. And that's what the RV park is. It's just, you found a lot of similar people like yourself. I did.
Yeah.
Those are like apartment buildings. They're in very high demand. Apartment buildings, Class A, are selling at a 3.5% to 4% cap rate. Same thing with the RV parks. The rate of return is extremely low.
Yeah. Well, some of the reasons why people sell a business, and I pulled the top 10 reasons. They want to fund retirement.
Yes, that's a very important thing. We being self-employed, we don't get a 401k. We don't get to go on vacation. So the business is your retirement. So people sell, and that will fund a retirement.
So fund retirement. We talked about burnout. It's probably the number one reason. Company not making enough money, relocation, health problems, other business opportunities. Your business is at a high point.
Yay.
That's what Tom said to sell. Partner problems, or someone simply looking for a change. And if that's you, you can call or text our off-air number, which is 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. We're already out of time, but we'll be back
Okay.
next week. Live where you live, or we'll fix it.